Well, howdy, y'all. It's Danny from Market Explainer. We're firing on all syllables over here. Before we jump into this next story, tell you about my website, Powerhouse Drones. Now, if you're interested in getting into droning, there's a TikTok that's super viral right now. Guy using a drone to do a dance on TikTok. You can go to
Drones are
Powerhouse.
huge here in Austin. Drones are
Yeah,
massive here in
yeah,
Austin. Right?
absolutely. So you go to powerhousedrones.com. We're going to have some reviews, a little bit of guidance on how to pick out that first drone or a little more something a little more advanced. That's powerhousedrones.com. So this next story, we're going to have to cloak it in pounds of euphemisms because we can't really say a lot of the words we want to say.
But
But if
pounds
we,
in euphemisms, like the pun started already. But go ahead.
yeah. So our good friends over at OnlyFans, the platform that I use to generate the majority of my revenue,
I hope
showing
so.
skin. It's a what for those of for those of you who are uninitiated, where you been? You living under a rock, but OnlyFans had an extraordinary year last year. A lot of performers and creators on the platform, um, they show skin, right? That's the most eloquent way I can put it. And it's a platform where those people don't have to go through an intermediary. They do it directly to fans, and the fans buy a subscription. They were saying that in October, due to some
October
banking,
1st. Yeah.
yep, due to some banking agreements, that they were going to curtail not safe for work content and effectively ban it from the platform. Which again, what's the point of your app if I can't see some things that I'm looking for, right?
Absolutely.
So, uh, so anyhow,
So on August 19th, they came out and said
yep,
we are going to ban, and I think we can put that on here. I mean, it's in the article itself. We are going to ban sexually explicit content, and there's a delineage here.
yeah,
They did not want to say you can still post all the NSFW stuff you want.
right,
It just can't be sexually explicit content, quote, end
right,
quote, right? Now, what you back up, look, OnlyFans did not start out what we think is OnlyFans nowadays.
correct,
It did not start it. It just started out as a way for people, whether it be musicians, artists,
right,
whatever. It was no different than say a real life version of Patreon, right? Or whatever, where you could go find a band maybe that was up and coming and whatever, and you could support them monthly. You could
right,
support them by buying their stuff, whatever.
correct,
Oh, that's what OnlyFans wanted to be. And then came along the owner of My Free Cams
right.
and bought up a majority stakeholder, Leonard Radvinsky,
Oh,
I
I
think is
didn't
his
know
name.
that's what how that worked.
He
Yeah,
bought up majority stake and took his My Free Webcams, which guess what they did?
I don't want to even say.
And then turned
Afraid.
around and said,
Yeah,
okay, all of the people that I
right,
had of My Free Webcams, I
right,
want you to all create OnlyFans accounts because this is simpler, it's a better platform or
right.
whatever, and you will sell your wares, as you say, on
Yeah,
OnlyFans. And then the amount of money that was being generated from that caught on to things like TikTok and whatever, where it
right.
was,
Yeah,
hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And then you fast forward a pandemic where everybody's stuck at home anyway,
yep,
and that kind of stuff. And it was just kind of this perfect storm. So that when they came out August 19th, 10 days ago now, and said, hey, we're going to ban this form of content, it
right.
was like, whoa, whoa, we made you what you are. You would not be anything that you
Right.
are today.
It listen, the platform, it doesn't matter how you start out, it matters how you get to relevance in the marketplace. MySpace was a platform for musicians, but that's not how we remember MySpace,
No,
right?
not at all.
We
Nobody.
we
Facebook started out as a college, a way for college kids to connect with other college kids about subject
Correct.
matter or whatever. That's
Yeah.
not what we think is Facebook as a college level thing now, right?
Right,
Like,
it's a government now, which we should all oppose. But so I'm just saying that, and we see this happening across other industries where banks tend to be the ones saying, we don't want to service this type of content or this type of business. So you see that in a lot of different industries. I guess I'll cloak this in some euphemism. The Second Amendment industry, you sometimes have that problem. Okay,
Well, the Schedule One that's become legal in a lot of different states
that's
or whatever,
correct.
but it's not
Yeah,
really the banks. The banks would love your money. It comes down to their insurance, right? The
right.
United States
Yeah,
government, whether you know it or not, typically backs up every
FDIC.
dollar in every bank in America,
Right,
right? And if the
FDIC.
government says we're not backing up this dollar because of whatever,
This thing,
the
yeah.
bank goes no, right?
Right.
Now, this article, and I don't remember whether he said it specifically, the reason I think this is a great article to talk about on a market explainer is because not only did they make this decision 6 days later because of
They
the
reversed
craziness,
it.
they reversed the decision and said, yo, we're sorry, right? And I
We
think
take it back.
I think this is a lot of the future.
Right.
I think we have been ruled by big business for
For too long.
decades.
Right.
And when you have something like this, where within 6 days, not only your users, which are in the
Right.
hundreds of millions of subscribers,
Is it really that big?
yes, of subscribers that pay into, they have a million, they said about 1 million people that use OnlyFans as a platform, and then they have hundreds of millions of users that pay
Subscribers.
into the platform. Does that
Wow.
make sense?
So they got
So-
about 1 million creators and 100,
Hundreds of millions of users, and those people
Wow.
combined to then bully a company
into doing what it wants.
into doing what the market wants. That's what's supposed to happen, folks.
Yeah, that's how a market works. Now, let me give you an example of what this reminds me of. Back in the late '80s, Ford put out this concept car, which eventually came out as a Ford Probe, but it was supposed to replace the Mustang. It was a 6-cylinder front wheel drive coupe that they had built with Mazda. And this is before you could harass somebody on Twitter, obviously.
Right.
People wrote letters to Ford saying, don't you dare give us some stupid 6-cylinder, which probably had more horsepower than those V8s in the 80s anyway, the Malaise era,
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Don't you dare give us that. We want a proper rear drive. And that Ford still came out with the car, but they continued to produce the Mustang rear-wheel drive. So that proves to me that markets are effective so the way markets are supposed to work is they're supposed to act as the regulating force to corporations, right? And that's what happened here. They said, don't you dare do that. Now, in the midst of all of this, the rapper Tyga said, if this happens, don't worry, I'll create a platform where these performers can go and get paid.
Who wouldn't?
Because there's, yeah.
Who wouldn't? Like, who wouldn't want to be the next OnlyFans? Look, you're talking. Look, this all boils around money, right? And not only OnlyFans came out and blamed the banks.
Yes.
I don't think it's just that. Like, and again, I don't know. I'm not a member of OnlyFans from either a subscriber standpoint or a company standpoint.
As a creator, I'm a creator.
My point though is look, Chunk and Dale's. I'll be all there all day. They can
Right,
pay me,
right.
right? But I think it's more than just banking. Yes, they can make banking difficult, right? But there's ways around that. I think this boils down to just good old-fashioned money. Right now, most of their money is generated. These people that are OnlyFans content creators, they give a percentage of every dollar they make to OnlyFans. And it is
I think it's 20 cents out of a dollar, ain't it?
Rich. It is made OnlyFans mega rich. They want to be able to turn around like every other social media type of platform and make money from both sides. They want to make money off of every dollar you make. They want to sell to marketers. They want to sell to investors. The problem they're having is they have a problem raising investor money and selling product placement to highly adult content, even though that's only a percentage. It's not all of their platform. It's what they're known for.
It's their biggest percentage.
Yeah, if I want to walk into a board and I go, hey, I'm here to get you to market on OnlyFans, they're not thinking, teenage bands, music, subscribers, right?
Right.
So that's the problem. That's what this really was about, for them to be able to go, we're just another social media platform.
Right.
Market with us, invest with us.
And so if I'm OnlyFans, I'm going to say, listen, we have the technology, we have the vertical integration, all this other stuff. If I'm them, here's what I do. I say OnlyFans is going to stay doing what it's known for now, which is adult content, where we put the subscriber and the creator, and we just give them a platform. And we have this new service, right, called Whatever, and that has stricter rules to it, right? Where there is no, it's more like an Instagram, but that you pay for, where there is no adult content. And I think that's the only way, because you need to split this up into two. Because if you kill this, you're killing the golden goose. So the only reason you have investors to ask questions to is because people got their nipples out on your app.
I don't think you split it all. I think really, and this setups perfectly for it with you going back, you lean in. You say, not only are we going back, somebody convinced us to do something wrong, which is their quote was, we're doing it to ensure the long-term sustainability of our platform, which is like you're talking to shareholders, right? You know what I mean? Or whatever. That was the original. And now they're saying we want it to be a platform for all. I think you take this as an opportunity and lean in. There are companies out there that make a lot of money doing a lot of weird things, and lean into it and take their money, right? Partner with those people, get those investors.
So again, there's another community that is marginalized off of YouTube and Instagram, the Second Amendment community, right? Because for a lot of different reasons, which is,
I don't know if they're marginalized, but go ahead.
Well, when I say marginalized, what I mean is their content is restricted. They can't put it up places.
Sure.
And they went to adult websites and said, hey, we can just upload it here. But do you really want to have to go to a P-Hub to watch a video about a Bing Bang toy, right? You don't want to have to do that. So I'm just saying, if I'm OnlyFans, if I'm the company, I go, listen, we have the platform, we have the technology, we have all this other stuff. So I would go in my previous thing, let's say, I would split it up into 10 or 15 different platforms and say, we're going to have one that's specific to this community, that community, because that allows you to A/B test what will work, one, and two, it's going to let you go, hey, listen, if this community will bring down the whole app. So if it's guys who like doing burnouts in their, they're doing, they're shutting down intersections, and they're doing takeovers, well, they're not the ones who are going to kill our app, right? It's going to be whomever. So they'll just kill that one section.
I humbly disagree. Lean in, build off of this. Guess what? We just said there's a lot of platforms out there that started out as one thing and became something else.
Right.
And you should sometimes, because that's what makes you successful. Why shoot your money-generating machine in the foot? Lean in.
I'm not saying they should. Money. You're right. I'm saying you should lean into your NSFW content. At the same time, take all of this stuff you've built, spin it off into a separate app, so that you can continue to build audience in other
It won't build. Because it's when you build a brand like OnlyFans, right? Splitting off and saying, all right, here's OnlyFans NSFW or OnlyFans Original, and then OnlyFans Music, let's just say. Because I think that would be a logic, separate music onto a thing. OnlyFans Music. I think OnlyFans Music dies. The same way that New Coke died. Or, you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Well, okay, let's... In an earlier story today, we talked about one of your favorite TikTok creators, 2 different TikTok channels.
Right.
So that strategy works. So I'm just saying, like, hey, listen, OnlyFans, if you want me to come consult for you, hire me. If you want to fail, hire that guy.
I think you could, to combine both of yours and my theories, you could do a Reddit type of thing, where you offer people a category, right? You can click this button. It takes away all the NSFW, off of your OnlyFans timeline, whatever it feed, right? Or you can click that you're here for music. You're here for whatever. Maybe give people those options, kind of like a Reddit, subreddit kind of thing.
The main thing is it's a subscription platform like a Patreon. And the reason why I feel like that's not going to work, this is just my opinion, it's the correct opinion, is because when that credit card statement pops up and your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, whomever it is, sees OnlyFans, you're gonna have to be like, no, but I really like this musician that's on there.
Do you really
But
think
if
a lot of these people that are giving monthly fees to OnlyFans have a significant other at home?
That's
I
true.
don't know, folks. I'm not
That's
making
true.
assumptions. I'm just asking a question.
That's true. That is true. I guess, but I'm just saying, like, but if it's music fans or if it's car fans, then it's like, my boyfriend's looking at cars or he's listening to music. It's a little less.
Maybe it's their
suspicious.
mom looking at their credit card statement.
That's
and finding
that's
it. Maybe-
probably a more accurate.
Maybe it's a mom,
Yeah.
but yeah. Again, Danny and I don't always have to agree.
We never agree.
I said this earlier.
I'm always correct.
I'm a capitalist even in this sense. If you can make money doing this, do
Yeah.
it, man. Make money. Go out and
Correct.
get it however you're comfortable making it.
Right.
I am actually a huge fan of OnlyFans in this. If you are safe in your home doing this, you are
Right.
not out there in dangerous situations and whatever.
Correct.
So I am all for, if you can make money doing this or anything else,
This-
you make that money.
This is the very kind of civil libertarian position, which is, hey, this doing this legally is better than the alternatives, which are illegal, which puts people in vulnerable situations, which nobody wants to see people get
Right.
into. But sometimes there are OnlyFans creators making
Insane
nurses.
amounts of money.
There was one of the articles when I was putting the story together was about a nurse who said, making $200,000 a month. That's a lot of money.
She found
Right?
but I found that same article, and so you have a nurse that went to school to be a nurse, and for all intents and
Correct.
purposes was a successful nurse. And look,
Correct.
high-profile nurses make some pretty good money, right? It's not,
But there's
to
no-
see that.
Yeah, but they're
But
not making
it's not
200 grand a
200
year.
grand a month,
A year.
right?
Not even a
no,
year.
and that's what I'm saying. So if she can turn around and make 200 grand a month for the next couple of years, and if 10 years down the road she wants to go back to nursing because
Yeah.
she's retired anyway and just wants to, you know what I mean? She can do that. But that's my point is, to me, apps like this, whether it's TikTok, whether it's OnlyFans or whatever, these are today's world of, and I'm this is probably going to piss some people off because they do or don't believe in it. This to me is part of what I call the American dream, right?
Yeah.
These are the ability that we have that, look, other places do too. I'm not taking away
Right.
from anybody, but you can live in Austin, Texas, in New Mexico, in Nevada, in New York City or whatever, and find a audience on OnlyFans that will pay you 200 grand a month to do whatever it is you're doing from the safety of your
Right.
own home, right?
And-
That's the American dream. That's something
Right.
that's available here that's not necessarily available
And
everywhere.
and in previous iterations of that industry, you might have to go to a place that's seedy, that's in a bad part of town,
And
where you're.
we all know
where you're-
that part in whatever town that you stay away
Right.
from because
Right.
of things. But
Well, you
it's
stay
this or
away from
anything
there.
else, or whether
I don't.
it's TikTok and Shopify or what what I mean,
Right.
whatever it is. The fact that we have and continue to have all these different ways to make successful money, to make life-changing money in different varying ways, to
Right.
me is not just the now, but it is the future as well. That
Correct.
already exists. YouTube was a unique thing in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
YouTube millionaires, right? That was like this
Right.
thing. Like, how
Wow.
can anybody be a millionaire for making videos and posting them
Right.
on YouTube, right? And then Jake and the Paul brothers come along, right?
Yeah.
And PewDiePie comes along, and all these,
Right.
Casey Neistat and all
Correct.
these people come along, and that's just the big ones. You've got all these people in the middle that made lots of money that didn't
Yeah.
necessarily make themselves millionaires, but they made a lot of money versus going to work in whatever job.
Listen, there were people who were making more money than they could have made working at Target, Walgreens, working at Starbucks. There are creators on YouTube who got to do what they were passionate about and made $75,000 a year. And a lot of those people might not have made 50 grand a year at a job.
If that, right? They were making
Right.
minimum wage for $750 an hour. But then you turn around and because of the success of a YouTube,
Yes.
then you get Facebook, then you get
Right.
TikTok, and then you get, you know what I mean, all these different OnlyFans and these platforms where you can do the same thing. because
Patreon and what have
Patreon
you.
and everything else. And I think you're only going to see more and more of these types of companies grow, because that's the old adage that I've used in business for years. I would rather give you 40% of $100 than me
Right.
keep 100% of nothing, right?
Correct.
Sharing revenue, sharing dollars that you make, and doing that together as a platform. To
Right.
me, that's what Market Explainer will eventually become. Danny and I have
Right.
talked about this as part of our overall business plan. Market Explainer will in the future not just be Danny and I, and eventually will
Right.
probably Danny and I will be less and less, and we'll have some other
Right.
people on here
Of
all the
course.
time and that kind of stuff. That's what it should be, is that growth. And so that's what OnlyFans is about. They just took something that already existed, found a way to monetize it and share revenue with creators. That's
Right.
it. That it
And
is
it's a
not
beautiful
something
thing.
new.
It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, no, like you were saying, I completely agree, and that is part of what we have in store for this platform that we are working to build.
Absolutely.
So
Market Explainer will. There you go. Market Explainer will be the next OnlyFans for business.
does that make us pimps? That
Does
what
that?
that
That's all Danny's ever wanted to be. Is
it really though, haven't isn't it
just
true?
just.
Hey, but before we cut everybody loose, I want everyone to know. Listen, Elon Musk is out there. He's worried about landing on and occupying Mars. But my new fund, Mothership Capital, go to mothershipcapital.com, is purely focused on projects that conquer the multiverse. Now, the fund is currently open to family and friends and accredited investors with a $250,000 investing floor. We are the only fund out there focused on conquering the multiverse.
Oh dear God, man! I hope that website actually exists.
I don't know how that, but I know.
We'll see you
Let's
next
talk
time,
here.
folks.